Hello guys. What if I told you that this items in my hand is a food preservers, like an example of active packaging material in action? Well, see my live video to get a full dose of what active packaging means. So, welcome to today's gist. Like I said earlier, these items these items are food preserver, a type of active packaging material commonly referred to as oxygen absorber or freshness preservation card. Now, these cards, they are just physical packets that are placed inside a packaged food. For example, like this bread I'm holding now, as you can see, it is properly sealed, packaged, well packaged. Just that in addition, it contains this packet known as oxygen absorber, and the essence is to help to extend the shelf life of this bread. So stick with me and I will explain to you how this card actually works. Okay, like I said earlier, this card it's called an oxygen absorber. And what do we mean by oxygen absorber? It's just a device that is used in packaged foods to remove oxygen from the immediate environment of a packaged food, like this bread I'm holding. And then when oxygen is removed, it prevents the growth of aerobic bacteria and molds. It also stops oxidation from occurring. Okay, now sometimes oxidation leads to rancidity in fat, and you know that breads has some atom of fat in their production. Now, the principal mechanism upon which these cards operate is on the mechanism of oxidation, that is ion oxidation. Don't worry, by the time I go into the components that make up this card, you understand why I mentioned ion oxidation. Okay, so like I said, the principal mechanism upon which this card operates is ion oxidation. And this card itself is constructed in such a way that it contains a mixture inside a porous material that allows air to reach it. In other words, maybe for example, assuming the process of packaging this bread, okay, that air was mistakenly trapped inside the packaged bread. Okay, what this food preserver does is immediately it detects, okay, the presence of air. It immediately traps the air. That's the porosity of its nature enables it to trap the air using the mixture within that porous material. Okay, so it traps the air and makes the air unavailable. So by removing oxygen, okay, this food preserver does not only prevents the growth of aerobic bacteria and mold, it also stops oxidation from taking place. You know, it's oxidation that usually leads to that rancidity reaction I mentioned earlier. And when all these processes are hindered, okay, you find out that our food product will now last longer. Let's now go into the major component of this food preserver card. Now, a standard industrial preserver card is composed of, number one, iron powder. Remember when I mentioned ion oxidation in my earlier explanation? Okay, so the number one major component of a food preserver is iron powder. In fact, this iron powder is actually the main active ingredient in a food preserver card. It works like a workhorse, okay, in the absorber. So what this iron powder does is that when it is exposed to the oxygen inside a sealed food package, okay, the iron powder oxidizes. Okay, now this chemical reaction is what actually binds the oxygen. That's the oxidation reaction binds the oxygen to the iron, thereby effectively removing it from the air inside, that's within the packaged food. Okay, that's making the oxygen in the air unavailable, okay, for any kind of reaction to occur. Then secondly, okay, another major component of a preserver card is activated carbon. Now this activated carbon is sometimes included to help, I talked about odors and flavor and the rest of them. It helps to remove odor and then some gas that might affect food quality, or it might be added to help regulate the chemical reaction. Then in some cases it can act as a carrier of the medium that is carrying the iron powder, which is the number one ingredient. Then the third major component of this food preserver card is salt, otherwise known as sodium chloride. Now, what is the function of this salt? Salt here acts like a catalyst, and if you are conversant with your chemistry, you know what catalyst does. They help to initiate chemical reaction and also help to speed up chemical reaction. So the major function of the salt is to initiate and speed up the oxidation process so that air or oxygen can be immediately removed from the surrounding of a packaged food. Then the fourth major component that enables this food preserver card to work effectively is moisture. Now it happens that for this iron oxidation reaction to take place, it requires a small amount of moisture, to occur. Then sometimes the moisture can be inherent in the food, and in this case, this food preserver card will be made to contain a moisture releasing agent, that will trigger the release of moisture needed for this reaction to take place. And at the same time, it will also be made to contain some amount of desiccant, to help control the humidity around the packaged food, so that peradventure the moisture is released, it doesn't trigger it doesn't stay within the packaged food environment, and then thereby causing other reactions that might initiate food spoilage. Then the card itself, it's made of specialized paper, and this paper is highly permeable to gas, but resistant to water and oil. This way, it will prevent this food preserver card from getting soiled or maybe soaked, thereby causing maybe the release of these components or mixtures into our food substance. Finally, it may interest you to know that this food preserver card is something you throw away. It is not to be opened, neither is its content to be eaten, because swallowing the iron powder can be harmful. So in other words, you might do well to keep it out of reach of your children, who might want to put it in their mouth once they come across it. So my good friends, in case you're into maybe baking and confectioneries and you've been battling with rapid food spoilage, or maybe your product does not stay long in the hands of your customer, and you have been looking for a means of making your product stay longer or last longer, so I will recommend this food preserver. I will recommend this food preserver. Feel free to try it, and then to help your product to last longer. All right. So my friends, thank you for watching my video, and I believe you gained something from today's episode. So if this video makes sense to you, kindly give it a like or share it to those your friends that are into confectioneries, that that they have been battling with, maybe after baking, producing large quantity of food, they're spoiled. Please share it amongst them so that they can watch, see the benefits of using a food preserver, to make their products last longer. Then also, please, if you learned something from my video, also please do well to comment what you learned, or if there's an area that you feel wasn't clear enough to you, please drop it in the comment section. I will make out time to address it. Then most importantly, please like and follow, and then subscribe for more similar content. All right, thank you, and then have a nice day ahead. Bye bye.